What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So let's listen to what Teofimo Lopez had to say most recently. Shouts out to Punch Drunk for doing this interview with Teofimo Lopez. But let's just break down this interview. You can see this interview in its totality. It's about 40 minutes long. As usual, Teofimo Lopez contradicts himself, but as usual, Teofimo Lopez says some truthful stuff in it. And he reveals that he was offered $11 million to fight Devin the Dream Haney. And he goes on to say he's not going to sell his soul to His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh for $11 million. But in the same token, he reveals that he apologized to His Excellency because he wants to get back in his good graces and he wants to make the fight with Devin Haney. But in the same token, he says that Bill Haney will sell his son for $1, but he's not selling his soul. In the same token, he says that Devin Haney was offered to fight, but he turned it down. At the same token, he says that Devin Haney needs to make this fight happen. Devin Haney needs him, essentially letting it be known that Devin Haney needs to accept the fight. Obviously, a lot of contradictions that took place here with Teofimo Lopez, and it's not surprising. And to Teofimo Lopez's defense, this is all boxers. When you interview all boxers, they all have contradictions, roller coaster comments, and emotions, and they never truly all. They never stick to one thing. They have a hard time focusing on one conversation, right? So they all contradict themselves. So this is not just a Teofimo Lopez thing. This is an all fighters thing. But let's listen to this. And again, you can listen to the interview in its totality on Punch Drunk. Let's listen to this, shall we?
Minute, yo. I counted it. I was watching it. I left it for a minute. That's all it took. Screenshot it, put it out there. Nah, for sure.
Now, he's talking about the comment he made regarding His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh when he called him a dictator, D-I-C-K tater, okay? And that offended Turki al-Sheikh, and Turki al-Sheikh then voided his relationship and the contract and the deal he accepted with Devin Haney to fight August 16th in Saudi Arabia, right? Now he alludes to he don't really want to fight in Saudi Arabia, but he wants to fight Devin Haney. Understandable, right? So I get it. Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez. I'm on board with Teofimo Lopez. The fight should not be taking place in Saudi Arabia. I'm 1,000% on board with Teofimo Lopez when he says that. But he's talking about that comment he erased. He said he left it up for 1 minute. Somebody screenshotted. Turkey got wind of it, and then the rest is history. So let's listen to what he had to say.
But nah, nevertheless, man, I might as well, man. Especially with all the rumors about Saudi and everything. Him being a high regarded person, I think that I don't need that type of smoke in my life or for my family. You know.
Now he's referring. Now this is ironic, right? Because when it comes to black people, he calls them monkeys, Nigger. Use banana references as an insult to black people. Says that he sent watermelon bananas to Keyshawn Davis, right? He don't need that smoke though when it comes to Saudi Arabia and his brand. This just lets you know how people view black people as being weak as a community. But let's keep listening.
Nevertheless, I think that I don't know. Maybe in the near future we'll do something. You know, maybe. But in the meantime, you know, I'm just gonna focus on my gym and just get back to the communities as best as I can.
Now, he said maybe him and Turkey will get something done and work together. Maybe, right? He's pleading his case to work with Turki al-Sheikh. That's pretty evident, right? Hence the reason for the public apology. Hence the reason why, he's showing Turkey, I'm still in shape, I'm ready to work, right? He wants to work with Turki al-Sheikh. But listen.
Not saying that we're gonna not work together, but I'm not saying that we're gonna work together. I'm just up in the air right now, deciding my fate. Really, my career has been great. It's always been up and down like a roller coaster ride, but everybody gets to enjoy it. So for real, just just weighing my options, man. There's no need to rush. You know what I'm saying? things rubbed very wrong.
He said, weighing his options, there's no need to rush, but he verbally agreed and was ready to sign a contract to fight Devin Haney for August. So there's where another contradiction comes in. You were ready to get back in the ring with Devin Haney after Jaron Boots Ennis turned it down. You wanted to fight Jaron Ennis, he turned it down. Now you was ready to fight Devin Haney, but your frustration, like he said, there was a lot of things told to him. Then there was a lot retracted. And I get his frustration. I understand that. But you got to control your emotions as a man. That's a female trait. And he didn't control his emotions, period. And he made some derogatory statements towards black people and Saudi Arabia and Turkey al-Sheikh. And for every action is a reaction.
With my comment. So I think that it left a little bitter taste in everybody's mouth. And, with that, I think that it kind of caused a lot of friction. But as far as the Devin Haney process goes, I think the Haneys definitely need to fight me. They need to make something out of their last performance, which looked...
So now he's saying that Devin Haney needs to fight with him. He needs to make something out of his last performance, which the fight was lackluster with Jose Ramirez. And he needs him to make a super fight. But in the same token, he's saying that he's weighing his options. But you're saying that Devin Haney needs to accept a fight with you. You can't have it both ways. He's making it seem like Devin Haney and company are not are weighing out their options, and he should be the chosen one. But in the same time, he's saying he has options and he's weighing his out. Contradictions.
Mediocre to speak. So these are great fights, great names, and I definitely would love to shed a ring with these guys. However, it's just gotta be ideal for everybody.
Now, when he says it got to be ideal for everybody, I get it. I'm on board. I understand. $11 million, great money. To fight Devin Haney, one of the four kings, great fight. To fight him in Saudi Arabia, terrible idea. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. No. That's the fight that needs to be here in the States. Again, no disrespect to Saudi Arabia, no slight to them. And we had great fights. Like he mentioned, you had Muhammad Ali, George Foreman in Africa. You had Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Manila, in the Philippines. Great fights, right? And it's a world sport. But some fights needs to be here in the States for the energy. Some fights just needs to. And I get it.
The financial stuff is there. I'm not going to sell my soul for $11 million.
So he says he's not going to sell his soul for $11 million because the finance is there. And I get what else he says, right? He says they want me to just jump on the plane when at their beck and call, take a 16-hour flight and do what they want me to do. I got a family, I got children. I get it. Same thing with Devin Haney and many other fighters that had the same issue. They're like, listen, yeah, that's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's the pushback. Turki al-Sheikh is like, listen, I'm putting the money in your pocket. I'm going to need you to do what I say when I say it. But yeah, it don't work that way. I agree with Tio on that standpoint as well.
I think Bill will sell his son for $1. I think I
Now he says Bill Haney will sell his son for $1, which is absolutely not true, seeing as though Devin Haney's been making way more money than Teofimo Lopez throughout his career, and that's proven. He was the second highest earner, only behind Gervonta Tank Davis. So it's safe to say Bill Haney is father, trainer, and manager. Devin Haney is a great businessman and understands the sport of boxing, understands the business. And he's gotten his son to where you want to be, and he's younger than you, right? But your dad and his dad are somewhat around the same age. So, yeah, no. Bill Haney's not selling his son for $1. You are one of the four kings, and his son is a competitor and wants to fight the absolute best there is to offer. Period. That's what Bill Haney is trying to do. Deliver his son's goals. That's what he's doing. That's Devin Haney goals.
And hey, you know what? Hey, no problem with that. However, when the time was for us to take that opportunity, they didn't give it to us.
When was this? So he's talking about after he beat Regis, Turki al-Sheikh wanted to make the fight with Teofimo and Devin Haney, and then Tio turned down an offer from Turkey to fight Devin Haney and went to Bob Arum for a lesser offer. And Bill and Devin was like, why would I fight you on Top Rank for less money when I could fight you with Turki Al-Sheikh for more money? See, he's not telling the whole story. And furthermore, when he had the option after he beat Lomachenko, he could have fought Devin Haney to officially make himself undisputed, and he opted to fight his mandatory and George Kambosos for the IBF. And the IBF, George People stated that he wasn't forcing it. If he would have chose to fight Devin Haney, they would have allowed him to do it with the winner having to fight Kambosos. So he's not telling the whole story. So he had that option as well.
And now that the tables have turned, now it's all about, hey,
What tables turned? The Jerron Boots in his fight fell through, and Turkey and Ryan Garcia lost to Rolly. And Turkey is saying, well, Devin Haney and Teo was always the plan anyway. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow anyway. The goal was to have Devin versus Jose Ramirez, Teo versus Barboza, Ryan versus Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz fell out. Then he was replaced by Rolly. Rolly upset Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia and Devin was supposed to fight in October. Teo was rumored to fight Boots in the same time frame. And then the winner of those two fights was going to fight each other. The fact that Boots decided that he don't want to fight Teofimo, he wants to still unify the belts at 147 and leave. Ryan lost to Rolly. Turki Al-Sheikh is saying, well, it only makes sense to go right into Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez because both of y'all options fell through. What do you mean the tables have turned? The dominoes fell, the chips fell in a form where your option for Jerron Ennis fell out and his option for Ryan Garcia fell out. So why wouldn't y'all just fight each other? That's what happened.
That's cool. All right. I see what everyone wants to do. Let me think about it.
Now he's talking about let me think about it. He wants to seem like he's the person in control, when in reality, you're not the person in control because you already verbally agreed to fight Devin Haney August 16th. The problem is you made those derogatory comments on social media and Turki Al-Sheikh pulled it off the table, period. And now you're trying to get back in his good graces to make the fight with Devin Haney. Tables didn't turn, it turned on you. And that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. And $11 million, you and your father complain that you never made $1 million. And your father's putting you on a shelf saying that you guys don't need to fight if you're not going to be for big money. Your father said that y'all was going to fight George Kambosos in Australia for $10 million. So he was selling you for $1. Instead of fighting Devin Haney for official undisputed, he told him that he had a fight on the table to fight George Kambosos for $10 million. So you was going to go to Australia to sell your soul to fight George Kambosos, not in the States, for $10 million, but you won't fight Devin Haney for $11 million? Make it make sense. So you're going to get more money to fight Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia than you would have gotten fighting George Kambosos when you was the unified champion and claiming to be undisputed. Make it make sense. Against your mandatory, who was nowhere close to the name Devin Haney is. And again, I agree, it should not be in Saudi Arabia. It should be right here in the States. But Contradictions is at an all-time high. And that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.